You've been standing in front of the mirror for 20 minutes. Something is still off. You just can't name it. And here's what nobody's told you. It's probably not your skin. It's not your makeup. It's the shape of your hair. The wrong cut doesn't just look dated. It adds 4 to 6 years, quietly, every single morning before you leave the house. And the worst part? The most aging hairstyles are the ones that feel the most familiar. That's exactly why they're so hard to let go of. In this video, I'm walking you through 4 hairstyles that are silently working against you right now, including the one in part 3 that most women have no idea is the biggest culprit of all. I researched the worst style and beauty mistakes and the best fixes for women over 50, so you get real results fast. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. I cover this every week. Part 1. The blunt bob. There's a cut that's been sitting on heads of women over 60 for decades. It's polished. It looks intentional. And it's one of the most quietly aging things you can do to your face right now. You probably know exactly which cut I'm talking about. You've had it. Maybe you still have it. The clean, blunt jaw-length bob. And honestly, it looks great on the right face. But for a lot of women over 60, it's doing something you can't see until someone points it out. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Here's the retention booster right up front. This is the one a woman at my salon heard 3 years ago and called her stylist that same afternoon. That's how immediate the shift was. So what's actually happening here? When hair is cut blunt and ends at the jaw, right at that horizontal line, it draws the eye across the widest point of the lower face. And for most women past 60, that horizontal emphasis creates visual heaviness exactly where you don't want it. It pulls the cheekbones down. It flattens the midface. It takes the natural architecture of your features and quietly softens everything in the wrong direction. There's a reason this mistake is one of the hardest to spot on yourself. Because you've been looking at this cut for years, so it feels right. It feels like you. And that familiarity is exactly what makes it so persistent. Here's the fix. And it's so small it almost sounds wrong. You don't need a completely different cut. You need length and movement. Ask your stylist for a bob that falls just past the collarbone instead of at the jaw, with soft graduation through the ends. Not heavy layers, soft, tapered movement that lets the hair fall away from the face rather than across it. That shift alone, jaw to collarbone, changes the direction the eye travels. Instead of reading across the face horizontally, it reads down and outward. Your cheekbones immediately look higher. Your jaw reads finer. If you're reaching for a blunt jaw-length bob, swap it for a layered collarbone-length cut with graduation. The length drops the weight. The layers restore the lift. Maintenance tip. Ask your stylist to trim the interior layers every 6 to 8 weeks. When graduation grows out, it reverts to blunt, and the aging effect comes back with it. Write this one down. Coming up next, the one swap that takes 30 seconds and changes how your entire face reads on camera. It's simpler than you think, and almost nobody knows it yet. Part 2, Heavy Side Fringe. Let me ask you something directly. When did you last look at the shape your fringe is creating? Not the fringe itself, but the shadow it casts across your face. Most women focus on whether the fringe looks tidy, clean, brushed. But there's something happening underneath it that I need to tell you about, because it is silently pulling years in the wrong direction. The heavy side fringe. The thick curtain of hair swept dramatically across the forehead and covering most of the brow. It became popular for a reason. It hides lines, concerns, things we feel less confident about. And that instinct is completely understandable. But here's what nobody tells you. This is the one I wish someone had said to me 10 years earlier. A heavy fringe sitting across a single brow does 3 things to the way your face reads. First, it creates an asymmetry that draws attention to itself rather than to your features. Second, it closes off the upper face. The forehead and brow are where natural light catches your bone structure. When that area is covered, you lose the visual lift that makes eyes look bright and open. Third, and this is the specific thing that's aging you, the solid diagonal line of a heavy fringe mimics the natural visual drooping that comes with age. Your face is already fighting gravity. Your fringe is inadvertently helping it along. That specific choice is pulling the eye downward, which shadows the brow bone, and makes the eyes red at least 4 years older in photographs. There's something about a heavy fringe that feels protective. And emotionally, it might be. But visually, it's doing the opposite of what you need after 60. The swap is from a heavy solid fringe to a wispy, open side sweep that barely grazes the brow rather than covering it. You're not abandoning the fringe, you're lightening it. Ask for the fringe to be point cut rather than blunt cut, so it naturally separates into fine sections rather than falling as a solid sheet. That separation lets light through. Your brow becomes visible again. Your eyes immediately read as brighter and higher. If you have a solid curtain fringe, swap it for a wispy swept fringe with point cut ends that allow light to filter through. That one technique change does more for your eye area than almost anything else. Maintenance tip. A wispy fringe needs a trim every 4 to 5 weeks to keep the texture light. If you let it grow out without trimming it, the weight returns and you're back to the solid curtain. This one is everything. What I'm covering in the next part. Most women find it even harder to hear. But it's the one that matters most. Part 3. The tight perm and over-curled short set. Here's the truth most people in this space won't say out loud. There is a very specific hair texture combination. And I say this with so much respect and care. That is adding more years than almost anything else on this list. It's not a cut. It's a texture decision. And it's been quietly aging women over 60 for 4 decades without anyone clearly naming what it's actually doing to the face. I watched a woman in a salon chair last week. Stunning bone structure, perfect posture, and the texture of her hair was doing all the wrong things to her face. She kept asking the stylist to just refresh it. She had no idea what she was actually asking for. The tight permed set. The small, uniform, overly rounded curls that sit close to the head in a consistent pattern all the way around. You know exactly what I mean. It's tidy. It's easy. And it is visually one of the heaviest age signals a hairstyle can send. Here's what the tight perm is doing to your face structurally. The uniform, rounded shape of a tight perm creates a halo of even volume all the way around the head. That even roundness reads visually as a fixed, rigid frame. It doesn't move. It doesn't have the natural variation of real texture. And because it doesn't vary, it flattens the face against it. Your bone structure loses its contrast. Your features look smaller inside the frame. And the association between this specific texture and a very specific era and demographic is so deeply established that it triggers an age read before the viewer has even consciously processed your face. Yes, that powerful. There's a reason this one is the hardest to let go of. Because it's been reliable. It holds. It doesn't need styling. After 60, that matters. But reliability without lift is costing you more than you might think. The swap is from tight uniform perm texture to a naturally waved or loosely textured short style that has directional movement rather than even roundness. Ask your stylist specifically for a style that lifts at the crown with soft natural movement. Not tight curls, not a rigid set. You want height at the top and softness at the sides. That combination elongates the face, lifts the cheekbones, and brings your features forward rather than framing them in a static halo. If you're still maintaining a tight perm, swap it for a loose wave texture service or a naturally styled shortcut with crown lift and soft side movement. Maintenance tip. A loose wave style can be maintained with a lightweight mousse applied to damp hair and diffused rather than set. The lower heat and less rigid hold keeps the texture looking alive rather than fixed. The next mistake is the one I see most often, and the most expensive one to fix if you leave it too long. Part 4. Flat roots and volumeless length. Alright, we've saved this one for last. And I need you to actually hear it, not just listen to it. Because this mistake is one that most women don't even register as a hairstyle decision. They think it's just how their hair is. And that misunderstanding is costing them, every single day, in a very specific visual way. Here's the bold truth. Flat roots are not a hair type. They're a styling choice. And the moment you treat them as something you have rather than something you're doing, everything changes. This is the one a friend of mine heard and immediately booked a new stylist. She said it felt like she'd been given permission she didn't know she needed. Here's exactly what's happening and why it matters so much after 60. When there is no volume at the roots and the hair lies flat from the crown down, the top of the head visually recedes. The eye naturally travels to where the most visual weight is, which, in this case, is the sides and ends of the hair. That visual weight pulls the whole reading of the face downward and outward. It widens the lower face. It makes the jaw read heavier. It drops the perceived position of everything. Your eyes, your cheekbones, your whole expression. Flat roots on fine or thinning hair is specifically adding 4 to 7 years to how your face reads in every room, every photograph, and every video call. That's not a small number. There's one thing about root volume that nobody in this space ever says directly. It's not actually about the hair. It's about the eye line. Volume at the crown moves your highest visual point upward. That single shift elongates the face, lifts the features, and makes the neck look longer. It's optical. And it works every single time. 3 fixes. Right now. The first, if you use a round brush when blow drying, angle the brush upward from the root rather than pulling straight back. That single motion lifts the root section before the hair sets. The second, try a volumizing mousse or root lifting spray applied directly at the root to damp hair before any heat. Work it in with your fingertips, not a brush. The third, if your length is pulling the volume flat and nothing is holding it, ask your stylist about internal layers specifically designed to remove weight from the midshaft. Less weight midshaft means roots have less to fight against. Swap flat, root-heavy length for a layered mid-length style with internal weight removal and crown lift, styled with root-directed heat application. Maintenance tip. Root volume holds better on hair that is trimmed regularly. Split ends and uneven weight in the length drag the root flat again. A trim every 6 to 8 weeks is not a luxury here, it's structural. I didn't expect part 3 to be the one people message me about most. But it always is. You just learned 4 specific hairstyle patterns that were quietly adding years to your face, and the exact fixes for every single one of them. Not vague advice. Not general tips. The actual structural reason each one was aging you, and what to swap it for. Boom. Your bone structure was always this stunning. Now you know how to let it show. Tell me in the comments, which of these 4 hairstyles were you making without knowing it? I read every single reply. Next time, we're getting into the one makeup placement mistake that's aging the eye area faster than any hairstyle ever could. And it's not what you'd expect. Like this video, subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path, and I'll see you in the next one.